All right, let me get my agenda here in front of me. Where's my agenda, Mr. Colograph? There it is. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Village of Walton Hills Planning Commission meeting of October 14th, 2021 at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll do a quick roll call before we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance first. That's the next thing on our. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Roll call, Joe D'Amico.
Here.
Todd Toaz.
Present.
Janice St. John.
Here.
Okay. Don Colograph, Mayor, present. I will read Mr. Whedon and ask for a motion to excuse Ray. Ray sent me an email, which I did distribute to everybody, and just wanted to Mayor Colograph, this is a written confirmation of my inability to attend the Village of Walton Hills Planning Commission meeting on October 14, 2021. As you and I have discussed, I have a prior commitment and need to be excused from this meeting. I am in support of both agenda items that will be discussed tonight and would vote for approval on both agenda items if present. So I just wanted to read that in record. Also here tonight, we have our Street Commissioner and Zoning Inspector, Mr. Kalman, and our Law Solicitor, Mr. Montello. In the audience, we have Marianne DiCarlo and her husband, Russ DiCarlo. Okay. I'd like to ask for approval of a motion for approval of the minutes of April 1st, 2021 Planning Commission meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
You weren't at the last.
Oh, I can't do that. Yeah.
Well, you should make a motion.
You can make the motion, you just can't, he
Okay.
can just abstain?
From.
Yes. You would just abstain.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the April 1st, 2021 Planning Commission meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Janice St. John. Vote on the motion. Joe D'Amico?
Yes.
Todd Toaz?
Abstain?
Janice St. John?
Yes.
Don Colograph, Mayor? Yes. So that's 3 yeses. Meeting minutes passed. Item 5, old business. I have no old business unless any members have any business old business they want to bring up or talk about. Okay. Mr. Kalman, anything old business from the last meeting?
No.
Okay. John? Okay. Well, new business. Item 6, we have item A, 021-04. It's an application for split and consolidation of parcels numbers 794-19-039 and 794-19-045. We did receive the plans from the applicants. They were submitted, so everybody should have a copy in front of them. Rob, I'm probably going to just point to you. It's a pretty basic lot split. That shouldn't be my car. Somebody's car is going off. I don't even know if it's in our parking lot. Could be the police. Oh, no, it's still going, right? Yeah.
Richard?
Everybody got it.
By sitting on it. Rob, did you want to just comment on it at all, or?
No, I mean, overall, the lot split consolidation is straightforward. I know when the DiCarlos built the home, they were restricted with the back line. They want to acquire some additional property from the neighbor to enlarge their lot. not substantial in nature. It doesn't create any zoning restrictions. Their setbacks are fine on all the existing structures. So I would, of course, be in favor of what they presented.
Okay. And also with that said, in front of all of us, we do have a letter from our engineer, Joe Gelati, dated 10/7. And he pretty much concurs with Mr. Kalman. I'll read that in the record. After review of the submittal for the DeCarlo lot split and consolidation plot dated 9/16/21, the following comments are offered. The submitted plot is in format acceptable to the village and appears to meet all local zoning codes. Additionally, this plot does not create any new or additional buildable lots. It is recommended that the Planning Commission grant approval for the lot split and consolidation plot. It is recommended that the owners Nicole and DeCarlo sign the plot prior to signature by the village officials. So I just wanted to read that in the record there. I know Planning Commission's been reviewing it too, along with our law solicitor. I, as mayor, concur with the building engineer and our zoning and street commissioner. I don't know if we want to, anybody else has any comments or questions?
I concur with you.
Do you concur?
Okay, the Nichols have to sign, and we have to sign in front of the notary.
What I would do, if it is passed tonight, Mary Ann, Rob will get a hold of Joe or myself tomorrow morning, and then whatever needs to be done, he'll contact you in the morning. We can, after the meeting, if it passes, I can get a number from you, and he'll get all that straight. Or John, do you know what?
Well, if she wants to sign tonight, I can notarize it tomorrow. I just don't
Yeah,
have-
John's a notary.
I just don't have my
What
notary.
about they have to sign too, right? I'll have to take it to them.
Yes.
I think he is a notary, he's an attorney.
Okay, well, why don't we get it passed first? Let's see
Okay.
if it will get passed.
All right.
And then after that, we'll talk, we can talk about how to execute it.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't pass, then that will be a moot point.
Yeah, I can be here tomorrow.
But we'd like to get it done as quickly as possible so the resident can get it submitted. Any questions from the committee relating to it, or any comments?
Not much to talk about, is there?
No, there isn't. That's, on your agenda, I know there is a motion there. And that motion, if somebody would like to make the motion right there after what I read, that would be the acceptable motion, and then we would vote on it.
Sure, I'll make it.
Okay, great.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Planning Commission application filed by Mary Ann DeCarlo residing at 17200 Andreas Drive to split and consolidate permanent parcel numbers 794-19-039 and 794-19045, and authorizing the mayor and the village engineer to sign all necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. D'Amico. Vote on the motion. Mr. D'Amico.
Yes.
Mr. Toez.
Yes.
Ms. St. John.
Yes.
Mayor Don Colograph, yes. Motion passes 4-5. Okay. So we can talk a couple minutes, John. So your motion passed. So now we can talk about executing it. So the hard part's done. Do they need to sign
I
something?
don't know, I'm not certain how many copies Joe wants,
Okay.
tonight, so let's touch base with him.
Yeah, can we get a, Mary Ann, I have your cell number, correct?
Yeah.
That's what's on the prints.
Yes.
Okay, so Rob will get a hold of Joe and John and coordinate, get a call tomorrow
Yes.
in the AM and,
Joe and John, okay.
well, this is John, and then Joe Gelati's our engineer.
Okay.
And he's not here tonight, but that's what John wants to run by to see how many Because he's the one, he has to sign with me, and he has to forward it.
Okay. I'm not, I've never done this before.
Oh, you're
so I
great.
Totally do not understand the process.
You're a great chip, because we're gonna walk you through it, and we're gonna get you through it, and it's not gonna be a problem at all.
Okay.
So we will contact you in the morning. The hardest part's done.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say typically it's one document with wet signatures on it, so that would be if, Mr. and Mrs. DiCarlo, if you wanted to take the Mylar, have it notarized with your signatures as well as your neighbors.
Is anybody a notary here who can sign?
Yeah, John is, but you don't have it with you now? But you can do it in the morning, right?
Yeah, we also need the neighbor Nichols to sign.
Yeah, if they work during the day.
I can't notarize unless I see him.
What time do they get, let John, if they can come up and you make it tomorrow
Yes.
after? Yeah.
Really, I got pretty well-
John's gonna be the easiest, best to hit, I mean, we have, I don't know, I think Jenna Lee's a notary too.
Yes.
But I don't know if she's here, but we'll make it work,
Right.
so,
I mean, we're available, it's just Nichols,
right.
They get home like about 6 o'clock, I think.
If a worst case scenario, maybe we could do it before the council meeting next Tuesday, they could stop in. I mean, I don't know.
Or even maybe, we'll work it out, 'cause
Or
if-
I'm a notary, I mean, I could just run
Yeah,
out,
Janice,
I'm
yeah.
not far, but I'm working tomorrow, so, should be home around 5 or 6. So if you wanna do it in the evening, give me a call,
Okay,
okay?
So I need to get a hold of them then.
yes, because they do have to sign it. According to Joe's memo here, right, Rob and John?
Yes.
He's got it written, the Nichols have to sign it too.
Correct.
Sign the Mylar one?
Yes, one document has all original signatures on it.
I am.
They have to sign in front of the notary,
Yeah.
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 So
Oh.
tomorrow we can sometime to do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll get it done, we'll get it worked out.
And then what about that other county then?
I'll talk to Joe. Joe will let us know. He knows the process on this very well, and he'll let you know, whether it's through Rob or John, what else you have to do.
Okay.
So we'll have that conversation with him tomorrow and let you know.
There's typically a filing fee, I mean, I think I ran down the last one for whoever it was, I can't
Or
remember.
maybe you did it for Smith and Obie, maybe.
Did we need to collect a fee, or did we already collect a fee, just curious, I mean, are we paying for it, whatever, just while we're talking here? I mean,
Well, no,
They told me they took care of the county.
Right.
Now, I don't know what that means,
The
but I could call them
fees
and
are like only
find out.
$80 or
Maybe
something.
part of my payment to them was
Right.
filing fee.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we start tomorrow with Joe, John, and Rob? They'll get it worked out. And then Mary Ann, they'll let you know what you need.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, they
Yeah.
may run it down there, good point.
Pardon?
That might be part of the fee, they may take it down after
Yeah, I
it's
think
signed.
they said,
Yeah.
tell Walton Hills, we took care of the county, that's what they said.
Yeah, last time it was Sugar Valley prepared it, and I ran it down, I think, but we'll check with Aztec and we'll touch base tomorrow.
Yeah. And Joe, yep,
So someone will give me a call then.
we will give you a call.
All right,
Probably before noon, I would say,
okay.
just in case Joe is in a meeting or something
Do
like that.
both Dave and Charlene have to sign, both of them?
I'm not sure.
Scott signatures for both, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would think it would need to be signed on however the deed is
Correct.
written.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, Joe,
If
yeah.
if one's on the deed, then that's who would need to sign it. If they're both on the deed, then they probably both need to sign it.
Right.
Yeah, that only makes sense, because you can't. If you're both on, one can't do it if the other one doesn't agree.
Even if they're not on the deed, because you're married, they would want the spouse as a dower interest. Believe it or not, they still have a dower
I
interest
know.
in society today, so they, even if she isn't on the deed, they would want her to consent, just so that she's aware of it, so that she couldn't come back and say, hey, I didn't know about it,
Right.
sue you for some reason, not that she would, but, yeah, just to be, for the county would want that, and will be.
Okay.
Any other questions related to item A? Okay, you're welcome to stay and enjoy our meeting, because we're gonna move on to something else. Are you good? You guys have any more questions, Mary Ann or Russ?
I don't, I'll just wait for the phone call, and I'll just call Nichols and tell them we need to sign in front of the tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if they can't do it, we can we can always do it another day. I mean, I know you want to get it done, but whatever.
Because we have to go to a title company too.
Right.
That's a good point. They may want to file everything all at once, so touch base whoever's representing you, you know. Ask tech, touch base with them and see how they want to orchestrate it, you know, if they want to handle this or not. The filing of the deed, the title company.
Yeah, we'll sign it and get it all up here.
File it, yeah, but Dave Nickel works with his law firm, a certain title company, so he said he could use them. So
There you
I
go.
said that was fine with me, I know of one also, but I said, well, we'll just use his, he would take everything once it's signed to the title company, I assume.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And then we'll make sure we call, somebody will call you. Have a good evening.
You too, and thank you.
Okay, we're got item B, 021-05, alternate energy facilities. I know we talked just briefly about that. Did we talk about it with the, I think we talked about it with the plan, just briefly about, we had discussion about it, solar panels, and we had nothing in place for solar panels. We still don't. We have things in place for alternate energy such as windmills, but nothing for solar panels. I know we did have George here, and we got like some legislation he had and some ideas to talk about it. But we did kick it back to infrastructure committee too. The infrastructure committee did review it, and George Smerigan worked with them on it and came up with what's in front of us here as the planning commission. So that's in your packet there. And I just attached an email from here that Ray, Ray, Mr. Linville, and Brian Spitznagel, all three are on the infrastructure committee. And Brian was kind of leading the way, so we have this email from him, and then of course you have the letter from Ray that they like where it's at. We, as this body, we have to approve it, and then it goes to council to get approval and to have legislation put in ordinance form. I know Rob Kalman was part of those meetings. I think there was two of them, Rob?
Yeah, we ended up discussing it at two separate infrastructure committee meetings.
So we can kind of go through it. I know this body has gone through it too, but we can go through it, take a look, see what you think, and see if we're ready to move it on to council. And like George said, a lot of these, we have nothing in place, so it's important for us to get something in place, and then we can always change it or tweak it if we need to down the road, but we certainly need to get something in place to address it.
So the chapter 1276 is what we want to put in place?
Yes, go ahead, Rob, I'll let you comment on it.
Yeah, I'm glad that this went to the infrastructure committee, because what we had in place already was chapter 1276 for WEX, the wind energy conversion. So then what they decided to do is combine the WEX with the solar and just call 1276 alternative energies, because sometimes when you keep adding codes over time, the book gets a little wonky. So this is pretty tight. I mean, we spent 2 different meetings, you know, talking about it, and they were good. You know, the back and forth is good, because everybody has different ideas. I mean, it would be, solar energy, I mean, going through here, it would be permitted as an accessory use. And, you know, they go through setback locations, you know, support, wind load, it's,
Mounting, where they would be,
Right.
placement.
right, and they go, of course, they go through a application process and everything, which is, it's solid. It's, I think it's pretty solid, I really do. And of course, we're not totally reinventing the wheel. I mean, like the mayor said, George was able to obtain codified ordinance from another municipality, and then we tweaked it to more align with our standard setbacks.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
I think that solar energy is coming, it's in the future, it should be considered. I don't claim to know all the technical details of it as it's listed here, but I think it's gone through some very good discussions and qualified groups. I do like the checks and balances of 1276.09. Looks like a pretty extensive approval process, application process. There's planning commission approval, there's notice requirements, permit issuance. I think that looks very good to me. I don't see any red flags in this whatsoever.
Thank you, Janice. I think, and for this body, that 127609 is important, because it would come before us. And at that time, if it was something that maybe a large farm or, you know, solar farm or something that could impact the neighbors, that would be important. Plus the application. That's a good point. You know, what we felt, and I think between council, our building department, and the planning commission is, like anything, the importance, I think why we all like Walton Hills is our country home living. So the placement and the size was an issue. What we were concerned about, I know we talked about it, and this addresses that, is let's say all of us here were neighbors and we decided, well, let's go together, put this big solar farm in, and we'll all reap the benefits of it, you know, and there was some concern about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and especially if I decide, oh, I'm not happy with you guys and I'm done, and now it becomes this other issue, you know, a zoning issue.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad we're talking to George, Mr. Smerigan, who this is in his wheelhouse, along with our zoning inspector. We're not the first ones to put one in place, but we're far from being the last. We're right up there with the beginning of the communities doing it. So I'm proud to say that, you know, we're being proactive with this. And I just want to make everybody on the planning commission aware, as we continue to review it, if there's something that hits us after this meeting, if we decide to move it forward, we still we can relate that to the council at that time too, you know, and they can address it at that meeting too. So our approval is to move it to council for their approval too, which we all have our input with them.
Right. And then there also will be a public hearing before the council.
Right. You're right, because it's an ordinance. Good point, Mr. Montello.
Any residents have concerns, so they can bring them up as well.
We would have to have a public meeting for this. Even though it's a replacement because we're adding? Okay. Any more questions on it or comments? Just wanted to put in record, it was moved from the infrastructure committee. All three members of that committee were in favor of what's in front of us too. Along with, you heard that from our street commissioner, zoning inspector, he reviewed it also, attended the meetings and is in favor of it. I'm in favor of it.
I'm in favor of it. Also, our city, our George Smurd, the drafter of the document's been in the business for how long there? I'm not quite sure how, but
40-something years ago.
40-something years.
He used this before.
so I mean, it's not like we, didn't hire a professional that didn't know what he was doing.
Correct. If everybody's good, I'd ask for a motion. I know we've been looking at this for a while.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to initiate a zoning amendment and recommend to village council changes to existing chapter 1276 of the codified ordinances of the village pursuant to the recommendations of the village planner and council infrastructure committee to promote alternative sources.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Torres. Okay, let's vote on the motion. Mr. D'Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Torres?
Yes.
Ms. St. John?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Don Colograph, yes. Motion passed. Four zero. Okay. Anything else from the committee before we ask for a motion for adjournment?
Should we move to approve the Mr. Whedon's absence?
Oh, we didn't vote on that yet? I thought we did.
No, you just read it in the
Oh,
record, we didn't vote on it.
then, thank you, Janice. Would somebody like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Whedon?
I would like to make that motion to excuse Councilman Whedon from the planning commission meeting on this date.
I'll second it.
Mr. D'Amico, second. Vote on the motion. Mr. D'Amico?
Yes?
Mr. Torres?
Yes.
Janice St. John?
Yes.
Mayor Don Colograph, yes. Mayor Whedon excused. I'm glad you remembered that. I know I read his email in place, so that was good. I know Rob mentioned, wait, not to go, to me, we thought we might have another item on the agenda. I think if you remember, we had a gentleman come to the planning commission. He talked about, what was it again, up there by affordable mulch?
Affordable mulch extending parking lot.
The parking lot, it was
So-
probably over a year ago.
It was maybe this time last year he's on the, but, yeah, I mean, the first item we recommended was, he couldn't have the accessory use without a primary use, and that they needed to join the lots. I've taken a couple phone calls from the architect, and then we had a meeting, I think a month or so ago, Joe and I had a meeting with the owner and the architect, and we kind of explained what we said already. And, yeah, I heard some rumblings. I think they're trying to get some plans into us. I think they're gonna move forward with the lot consolidation.
Anything would be better than what they've done now.
I-
Pushing a big pile of dirt up and digging a big drainage ditch through the middle of the thing or whatever.
I agree, Mr. Tillings.
Well, they wanted a parking lot, so they created one, it's just hidden behind a pile of dirt.
They, yes.
So I thought it might be on this meeting agenda, but he didn't get it in, so.
Yeah, on this most recent phone call, I didn't speak to him directly. They contacted Lisa and asked how many copies they needed to hand in and everything else, and that was it. That's where it stalled, so.
So
I
that's-
know the owner's interested. I mean,
Right.
the owner's interested in moving forward, so I think they're relying on their point guy, so.
So I'll let you know if we get anything on that. And then we'll move forward, but otherwise, I don't see any meetings besides that one. Anything else coming in front of us? Rob or John, anything else? I don't think that would be coming from the planning commission.
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
No redevelopment of the floor plan plans?
Well,
I was gonna say that, but
I just, for thing, when, you'll know when that come, we're hoping, and I shared this with, publicly with, council, some good things have been going there, of course. The purchase agreement hasn't been signed, but we're hearing that it's good possibility it could be signed before the end of November, maybe even sooner, with the group that's been, that you've heard about, which is DeGeronimo, Scanlon, and Weston. There's been some other movement going on there through the village here, so we're feeling pretty good. But we haven't received any plans yet.
Okay.
So when we do receive something, of course, this body's gonna be part of it. So I'm hoping that really something exciting for us here.
Yes, something to look forward to.
Right. Just to share with the planning commission and especially with members who live very close there, I know we've had complaints on the outside exterior of it, and it's because of the transfer and all this, so we're working on that, but it might become a construction site before you know it, which we're hoping that happens, because it certainly is an eyesore now, and nothing happening, and no money, and so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They didn't waste any time on the Brook Park one. That
Yeah,
was
they didn't waste any time.
Pretty
they-
much down.
Right, they closed on that, and as you know, what's been out there is true that they were purchasing both properties, but it was always one, always separate purchases.
Oh, yeah.
It was never two.
Mhm.
At one time, we thought our property would go first before Brook Park, but just didn't happen that way, so. But we're feeling pretty good, so we're hoping
Okay.
good things, so. But the exciting part is the planning commission, things will be coming before us. So it's gonna be good times for us here.
Okay.
I'd like to ask for a motion, is everybody good? Anybody have anything to add before we adjourn? Okay. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn the planning commission meeting of October 14, 2021. Anybody like to make that motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion for adjournment for the meeting for October 14, 2021.
Second?
Second by Jack St. John. Vote on the motion, Joe D'Amico,
Yes.
Todd Toaz,
Yes.
Janice St. John,
Yes.
Don Colograph, yes. Meeting adjourned at 7:35.
I don't know whether
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
purpose of it.
Thank you. Good. Yep, thank you.
You too.
John, thank you for